Laura, I have to ask you a very difficult question. And I know it's one that like everyone would want me to ask. And it's the state of, I mean, you've alluded to it, the cost of living crisis, inflation, things going up in price, and just like wages not really going up as much as prices are. So speaking about young people specifically in this sort of state of the economy, what can they do?
So one thing I would say that I think is really important to start is not staying informed, but not letting the media fearmonger you to make choices with your money that don't align with your long-term goal. Now, if you're a young person, you're going, I don't know, I don't have a long-term goal. Like, I just mean more in like you want to be financially stable. Unfortunately, there's only so much we can do. Like, I read the news, I stay informed, but I'm not like on there every single day. Like, oh God, it's gone up again by 1%. It's gone down by 2%. Yeah. So like having your own boundaries with that, I would say. And then really it comes down to knowing that, okay, or asking yourself, what is in my control? Okay, what job do I have? How much money is it bringing me? Is there scope for me to get a promotion, get a pay rise, move countries, move companies, and get a higher salary? So you've kind of got like the income part. And I'm not really a fan of monetizing every side, every hobby that you have into a side hustle. But
that's been glorified as well.
Absolutely. And people like, you can make so much money online if you just start selling your skills, or if you just start. And I'm like, I don't think people understand all of the other work that goes involved into it. And like, the more people that do it, the less people there are to buy. Like, it's just, it's been glorified. So look into side hustles if you want, like, of course. But again, everything is about balance. But like, try not to be like, that is the only way that I'm going to like, get through this economy. Then the temporary side of being like, where can I cut back a little bit? Like, I just got to be honest with myself. Where is it that, okay, I like spending money on those things, but really that money in a little savings pot and as an emergency fund, just for the next 6 months, year maybe, that would make me feel so much better. Can I forego said things for 6 months, a year, but knowing it's temporary? I think sometimes it's a little bit like, when you're in a bad mood, you have to remind yourself that a bad moment is not a bad life. It's the same with your money. Like, having to act with your money a certain way, cutting down, being a bit more mindful, being a bit more aware, doesn't mean that's how it's going to be forever.
Yeah.
Like, it's a little bit of, it's the whole art of delayed gratification, like for your own sanity and mental health. Or, you go the other way and you go, oh, there's not much I can do. And you just carry on. And then you're the one at night like,
yeah.
So I think, I would say knowing that you might have to have a bit of a short-term plan of making an emergency fund, finding your little money leaks, maybe subscriptions that you're spending money on that you don't actually use. I spent about 6 months, 2 years ago, spending like 90 quid on a gym that I didn't go to once. And I was like, what am I doing? So like all of those little things where you need to go, okay, that could help me just a little bit right now.
Yeah.
But it always comes down to being able to be really honest with yourself. And that's something that people avoid a lot.
Yeah. Because it's difficult, isn't it? So to be like, because everything seems like it's essential.
Mm-hmm.
All those subscriptions seem essential.
Yeah.
It's like, but I might go to the gym like next week.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
So it becomes really difficult. But then would you say in this sort of like state, would you recommend like investing, or like for someone, because I'm sure they'll see it and they'll be like, oh wow, there's so much stuff going in the news. Cost of living is going up. I should just save. Like that's it.
Yeah. So I guess what I would say, like, investing in this economy, you can't time the market. So whether the market is up or whether the market is down, any time is a good time to invest. Because really, if you have a long-term strategy, you do it monthly, you crack on. Now, obviously, you can get to a point where maybe you're a bit more of an active investor, which means you're a bit more hands-on. It means that you are reading a little bit and go, oh, okay, maybe this might dip. Maybe it'll be safer in cash and I'll reinvest. You can do that, but that's not step one. So if you're listening to this and you haven't started investing yet and you're thinking about it, make sure you have your other ducks in a row.
Yeah.
So that's understanding your relationship with money and your attitude towards risk. Like, are you low risk? Are you high risk? How long do you even have to invest? What your goals are and what your values are. And then also, you have to know your numbers. You cannot just be willy-nilly flapping around for the month being like, I don't really know what's in my bank account. Like, you have to have an overview of it. And when you have those things and you've built an emergency fund and you feel confident with your relationship with spending and you've cleared your high interest debt, then you can start investing, even at a small amount. But I think that it's important to have a couple of things into play first.
Yeah, I think investing is one of those ones where I think people find the scariest.
Yes.
Because they're like, they see all these films like Wolf of Wall Street. They see these people in the city with suits on. They're like, I'm literally in my bedroom. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, this is, and plus I'm investing like 100, 200 pounds. Like, I'm not going to make that much. So how would you first start the road to investing? And like, why should people care about it?
So I guess the reason why people should care about it is that inflation goes up every year. So, inflation is a percentage, but the cost of goods and services goes up every year. So therefore, when you hold your money in cash in a savings account, even if let's just say you are making a 5% return on your savings account.
Yeah.
If inflation is at 3%, you're actually only making a 2% return. So inflation is eating into the buying power of that money. Over time, obviously savings rates fluctuate, as does inflation, but essentially the purchasing power of your money is smaller. So you've got that, you're working hard, you're spending your hours, going to a job or running a business to make this money, to hold on to it, for it to then not be worth as much in the future. And on top of that, how we used to build wealth back in like the 60s, the 70s, the 80s was property. Like, I think my auntie bought an entire flat in the north of London for £18,000. That's like not even a deposit now, right? Unfortunately, house prices have not risen in alignment with average wage. And it's different, like disparity depending on what part of the country. But property is not as accessible of a way to build your wealth and secure your financial future as it used to be.
Yeah.
So it's harder for younger people to get on the property ladder.
Yeah.
But, getting into investing in the stock market is an easier, more accessible way to do that. So there's less barriers to entry. And I also, we can't rely on the government. We don't know what the state of the pension will be. There are all these little things where it's really important for your own sanity and financial security. And there's also a pension gender gap. So by the time a man comes to invest versus a woman, a man has a lot more in his pension, and yet women live longer. And you don't want to be working in your 80s and your 90s. You want to just know you've got a pot of money. So investing is going to do all of that. And I think if you are wanting to get started, education, you have to have some level of understanding about the words, about the concepts, about how it works, why you're doing it. Because it's so easy to see a video online that says, step 1, open up a stocks and shares ISA. Step 2, or pick platform. Step 2, put £100 in. Step 3, pick an index fund. That's great to get started, but then you don't know what you're doing long term, what it's going to look like, how it works, the tax implications. There are things that you need to know before you get started. Yeah. So depending on how you like to learn, whether you like to do a course and watch videos, whether you like to read a book, whatever, find people that you trust in that area, learn about it, read about it, watch about it, and then you can get started. And, the best way is pick a low cost platform and start small. I think my first ever investment was like £70 because I was like so scared, but I was just like, I'll just give it a go. Yeah. And you can build up your confidence over time.
Yeah, I think that's a really key thing as well, is that you don't need to put in substantial amounts of money just to try it out. Like, you could put in, like a friend of mine put in, I think like £50, like a couple months later, that 50 turns like 55. And they're like, oh my God, that's so cool.
Yeah.
And they got that feeling for the first time. Like, in the grand scheme of things, obviously that's not that much money, but they get that feeling.
Yeah.
And obviously stocks can go down as well as up, but at least you understand the risks that are involved.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're just on the sidelines, and plus there are platforms where you can use like fake money as well. That's the other thing.
Demos.
So you're not even putting your own money at risk. I would probably say like put your own money just so you have some sort of emotional attachment to it.
Yeah.
Even if it's like a very small amount.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think there needs to be more people doing it.
Yeah. Well, and also, do you know what I think? Like so if we think about it from a mindset perspective, I always say getting started with £50 a month is not going to be the thing that makes you rich. It's not going to be the thing that makes you wealthy if that's what you carried on doing. However, it doesn't mean there's not merit in it. the important thing is if you started committing to, I'm going to put £50 aside into investing, you've got a bit of emotional stake because it's your own money. You go, I'm in my training ground. I am using my money, so I can at least start doing a bit. But it's more about the habit. It's more about self-identifying as an investor. You're going from being not an investor to an investor.
Yeah.
And it does something psychologically which helps you build confidence. So you're more likely to enter a conversation with somebody about it. Maybe you're more likely to go to an event where they're talking about it, or read an article in the news, which then makes a bit more sense. And it's more about what you're creating for yourself and how you view yourself, so that by the time you are a bit more confident and you do have a bit more money, then you can invest more.